In today's video tutorial, I'm going to share our favorite scratch yellow cake recipe. And today we are making a 4-layer 6-inch cake. I'm going to be making a double barrel cake just because that's what we need today. But the recipe as written makes a 3-layer 8-inch cake. So what we're starting off with is our dry ingredients. I'm going to combine our sugar with the other dry ingredients. This is a little bit different than what we would do if we were making a cake that called for the traditional creaming method. What we're doing today is a variation of the reverse creaming method. So we are going to combine all of our dry ingredients in our next step, and then we're going to add the butter to that. Okay, so right now our dry ingredients, all of them are in our mixing bowl, and we're just mixing it to incorporate everything. You want to mix it for about 30 seconds or so. And what I like to do is, because you get some buildup around the sides, just to be on the safe side, you can mix it in your mixer, but still go in with your spatula or with a whisk and just incorporate it a little bit more, just to make sure that everything is well mixed together. And then our next step is going to be to add the butter. So now I'm going to add my softened butter. This is 2 sticks of butter, and I'm just adding it bit by bit. And just cut off slices. And soon we're going to have a consistency of coarse sand. So we're just going to let it mix until the butter has a chance to coat all of these dry ingredients, and it will have a sandy consistency. Okay, so you can see now that our butter has coated all of our dry ingredients, giving it the look of sand. And you can just take it in your fingers and sort of flatten it out, and it sticks together, and that's a good indication that it's ready. So I took it off of the mixer. I took the mixing bowl off of the mixer just to really make sure that there's no just plain old flour hiding on the bottom of the bowl. And now we're going to move on to the next step, which is to add our eggs one at a time. Okay, so I'm going to add my 4 eggs one at a time. So we'll just slowly pour it in and give it a chance to mix in till you can't really see the egg yolk very well anymore. I'm going to turn it up just slightly higher. We'll add the next one. And then finally the last one. Okay, so our mixture is well blended now. I'm going to turn it down a little bit, and we're going to add our 1 cup of buttermilk, which also has a tablespoon of vanilla flavoring. Okay, so I have it on a level 2 right now, and it's going to beat for about 2 minutes. You can see the consistency is really nice and smooth. It's getting more fluffy, and we'll meet back once the 2 minutes has passed. Okay, I did want to stop for a second. You can stop your timer. I want to make sure that I scrape the sides and bottom of the bowl just to make sure that there's no clumps. Because the worst is to finish your mixing and then find a pocket of unmixed ingredients. Okay, so let's load this back in, and I'm just going to mix for the remaining minute that we have left. But you can see the consistency is already really nice for this batter. So we're just going to continue on a level 2, and we'll meet right back. Okay, so now it's time to fill our 4 6-inch pans, and as I mentioned earlier, If you're making an 8-inch cake, you would do 3 pans. This makes just under 8 cups of batter. And so you can see it's a good amount of batter, which is nice because whenever you have more than 2 cake layers, you can squeeze in another layer of filling. So I'm going to just scoop out my batter using my cup measure, and I'm just going to distribute the batter across all 4 of the pans. And by the way, I greased my pans and floured them, and then each pan at the bottom has a circle of parchment paper, and that just makes sure that it's not going to stick. Okay, so we have our first cup. Oops. I use my spatula to get all the batter out. So I'm going to distribute the batter evenly. We should be able to get about 2 cups per pan. Okay, so we have divided our batter between the 4 6-inch pans, and I weighed them with our digital scale just to make sure that everything was even. You want to give your pans a good whack on the countertop, and that helps the air bubbles to rise up so you won't have holes in your cake. We preheated our oven to 325 degrees, and so we're going to put them in the oven, and once they've baked, we'll meet back. Okay, so after cooling our cakes still in the pan on the baking rack for about 5 minutes, I flip them out, and they each are going to be on their own cardboard cake circle, which, as you can see, is covered in foil. And the reason that we cover it in foil is most of these boards we're going to be able to reuse for other cakes, and so wrapping them with foil allows us to unwrap them later and reuse them on another cake. Okay, so you can see each of these is nice and tall. If you were making just a regular 4-inch tall 6-inch cake, you wouldn't need all of these layers, but we're going to make a tall double barrel cake for just another cake project that we're working on. So a double barrel cake, those are extra tall layers. They have supports in the middle, an extra cardboard circle in the middle. So just keep that in mind. You won't need all of these layers and all of the batter if you're just making a regular 6-inch cake. The next step that we're going to do, and what we like to do for all of our freshly baked cakes, is after they have cooled off, which ours have just a little bit for about 5 or 10 minutes, we're going to wrap them with plastic wrap and then foil, seal them tightly while they're still warm, and place them in the freezer. That just helps to keep them extra moist. It actually makes them more moist. So that's just something we always try to do if we have a chance. Okay, so we are finished. I hope you enjoyed this quick little tutorial for making a yellow cake. This is a great yellow cake just on its own, but it's also a great base cake recipe to keep in mind if you'd like to experiment with adding different extracts and flavors, or chocolate chips and other add-ins like that, just to make it your own. So hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.